After two straight defeats on the road to Farsley and York in the past week, Leamington hope that a return to your Co-op Community Stadium will bring some home comforts with it on a turf in which they are unbeaten in 7 games in all competitions and have conceded just 2 goals in the past 2.5 months. The side sees 2 changes from last Saturday's 1-0 defeat to York City as Steph Morley returns from an injury that kept him out against York, and Junior English comes in for Charlie Williams up front after Paul Holleran confirmed in midweek that Kelsey Mooney will miss the rest of the season with a ruptured ACL. Today's opponents, Darlington, travel to Warwickshire in a rich vein of form which is seeing them eyeing late playoff push in the final workings of the campaign. Alan Armstrong's men have taken 15 out of a possible 21 points from the last 7 league games, overcoming sides such as Fylde, Southport and Chorley in that run, and they come into this one off the back of a 2-1 victory over Boston United. And last week we heard the tragic news that Redditch player Tom Rankin had sadly passed away at the age of just 26. Tom spent a spell with us here at Leamington in the 2017-18 season. May Tom rest in peace, taken far too early in both sets of players, and all 4 corners of the ground observe a respectful minute's applause. Morley meets a lofted ball as in step Dos Santos. A little tussle with Walker, and Dos Santos gets there ahead of the Leamington midfielder. Mondale now breaking on the periphery of the penalty area. Left-footed drive towards the near post, but cuts put in the end for Callum Hawkins. First bit of goalkeeping the Burton Albion loan man has had to do this afternoon, but got down quite comfortably to his left-hand side. Bread and butter really for the man in the plum kit. Lane, meanwhile, just deals with a ball over the top, can bring it down and clear away. Drops to Clark in the midfield. He's got Devon Kelly-Evans to his left. He's also got Steph Morley to his left. And here is the Leamington left-back. His clearance is charged down by Dos Santos. Now something could be on here for Darlington as Mondale allowed time to turn and strike towards goal, straight down the throat of Callum Hawkins. Plenty of venom in the effort from Junior Mondale. Left-footed drive, but just stung the palms of Hawkins. It was quite comfortable in the end for the Leamington goalkeeper. Leamington 0, Darlington 0. Can Devon Kelly-Evans be the provider to change that? Easily dealt with by the towering Lawler. Clark can't find the corner kick taker, Devon Kelly-Evans. Meredith with a clearance, actually turned out to be a fantastic ball up towards Parker. Back there is Rose. Leamington still have this on the right-hand side with Parker, trying to shrug off the challenge of Ellis. Lays it back to Meredith. Crossing position for Dan Meredith. In it goes towards Edwards at the back post, who beat his mark to the ball, but also beat the crossbar with his header high into the Leamington faithful, who have gathered behind the North Bank goal. Welcome back to your Co-op Community Stadium, where it's Leamington 0, Darlington 0, and immediately Leamington are down the right hand side. Edwards across goal, Taylor spilled it. Junior English can't get to it. Parker looks to keep it alive, but Darlington survive an early scare. It's certainly not been one for the history book. It's not been one to write home about. It's not been pretty. Long ball into the penalty area for Cassidy. One shot for Mondale! Whiskers wide of Hawkins' left-hand post. Hawkins at full stretch. Mondale just peeled away from his marker, unable to get any real purchase on the effort towards goal, and Hawkins happy to watch it sail past his left post. First real sight at goal goes to the visitors in the second half. Back to Clark. Leamington operating on the left-hand side. Devon Kelly-Evans with a firm challenge on Ellis, who just rode that challenge and found Moke. Lambert, bit of space to turn into over the halfway line. Lovely ball to find Modal. Cleave through on goal. Hawkins to beat, and he beats Hawkins. And Darlington take the lead and celebrate in front of the travelling contingent. And Junior Mondale fires true past Callum Hawkins. Fantastic ball over the top to find him from Jack Lambert. And Mondale did the rest, brought it down, had 2 gold shirts breathing down his neck. They didn't faze him, kept his composure and fired it past a despairing dive of Callum Hawkins into the back of the net. And the visitors lead as they are on track to make it 3 wins out of 3 in their playoff push late in the campaign. Leamington 0, Darlington 1. So throw in for Darlington in front of the burger van. And they're a right back position. Walker picks the ball up in midfield. Parker helps on towards Meredith on the right hand side. Might try his luck from distance. Does so! Clatters against the crossbar. What an attempt from Dan Meredith. Inches away from an absolute screamer. Well, it was a slick move from Leamington across the midfield. The ball just being helped across the middle of the park. Parker set up Dan Meredith, had absolutely nothing on from about 30 yards. Just put his foot through it, and the bar is still shaking. Closest Leamington have come, though. Dan Meredith clattering the crossbar from about 30 yards. Leamington trail by a goal to 0 as Connor Taylor just comes back from completing his warm-up down the touchline and puts a big jacket on, so we won't see Connor Taylor anytime soon. Here's Dos Santos, right corner of the penalty, a snapshot from the angle. Couldn't keep it down as it sails over Callum Hawkins' crossbar. But he just fastened himself a fraction of space there, Dos Santos. So we'll see what Steph Morley can do. He's already got a couple of free kicks to his name this season against Kettering and Tamworth. Steph Morley then steps up, left-footed, got it up, but couldn't get it back down, and it sails over the crossbar, and another chance goes begging for Leamington. I'm just keeping an eye on the bench with 5 minutes to go, whether Holleran's going to make his third and final throw of the dice and then attempt to grab an equaliser. Gittins lets the ball bounce and retreats all the way to the halfway line. Mace lets the ball bounce in front of him as well. Hooks up towards Devon Kelly-Evans. It's sliced high by Cassidy. Edwards underneath it. Taylor punches away under his own crossbar. Here's Walker. Drives towards goal, but it sails just over the crossbar. And Darlington living life very, very dangerously in these dying embers. Cassidy just putting anything he could on it, slicing it high up into the air in his own penalty area. Taylor had to take evasive action and punch clear straight into the path of Walker. His technique got it all right, but just got under the ball slightly, and it sailed over the crossbar with a half volley. The 90's up by my watch. Haven't seen how many has been added on. It's in by Morley. It's out by Ellis. Morley will try again with the foot. Lane into the side netting at the front post. A few fans in the Highbury Lane end saw the net ripple and thought that Leamington had grabbed a last gasp equaliser, but the side netting for Jack Lane only. Darlington is looking to wind down the clock as much as they can. Referee gives a look. Dos Santos, and there is the full-time whistle, and Darlington, the Quakers, their prayers for a playoff miracle continue. It's 3 wins on the spin for Darlington, a step closer to the National League dream. As for Leamington, their 7-game unbeaten run at home comes to an end, and Darlington despair them to their 3rd loss on the spin. It certainly wasn't one for the history books between these two sides, but it's Junior Mondal's fearsome strike 10 minutes into the second half, which has proven to be the winner here at your Co-op Community Stadium. It's finished here, Leamington 0, Darlington 1. The Quakers go marching on.
Paul, just the 1 goal in it today with Darlington taking away the 3 points. Your thoughts on the game today?
Well, the 1 goal was one of the few moments of quality, I think. We were mindful of, I think structurally that's one of the few moments in the game when we vacated the middle of the park, left that gap. The front four they rotate, do really well, and sort of Lambert's come off their left-hand side, come in, spun, and he sort of dragged us around a little bit, and it's a good quality, but it's a good finish. So, listen, that moment was a good moment for them. Good goal. I think if we could get back to that moment now, then you know, one of our sort of 3 midfield players need to be in that area, or when we go in with Lambert, we've got to go tighter really. So that was a mistake from us, but execution was excellent from them on this surface, to be fair. I thought first half most of it belonged to Darlington. The conditions favoured them probably. I thought we got a grip of the game last 10-15 minutes of the first half and started to find our way into it. Against a good side. They're a good side, these are, and the form table will tell you that. And second half, really, we couldn't have done a lot more. I mean, listen, it's obvious we've got to do a little bit better in the final third. It's one of them days where you're hoping something just might drop. We put lots of balls in decent areas, won lots of first contacts, we got hold of it, we got good crosses in. We just listen, the 2 centre-halves then defended brilliantly, Ellis and Laurent. And, on a day when their bit of quality's gone in the net, our bit of quality's at the bar or something else or whatever, and listen, you just look at the players, and again today, and they give so much as a group. We've got plenty of excuses if we need excuses, and the Kelsey out and Dan out and all the bits and pieces at the moment. But listen, they're such an honest bunch that And they put a really good shift into that, and they've gone toe to toe. And we're probably in a difficult game with a better side for long periods, second half, and deserve something out the game. But yeah, at the moment, similar to Farsley, probably, we're not getting what we deserve. But listen, whether it's Steph coming in, Steph and Joe Clark not training at all this week with injuries, whether it's putting Junior down the middle there, players just really, their sort of levels and their character is unquestionable. And listen, we've just got to try and keep going, keep trying to do the right things. We've got to be better in the final third at times. But it's tough in the final third, and listen, and hopefully, on the running we can just turn some of these gutsy, gritty performances into points, and that's what we need to try and do.
So Paul, also Kelsey, we know he's out with the rest of the season with an injury. What's the latest on him as well as Dan? What's the latest on them too?
Dan was very close today, and to be fair, he was. I'm hopeful Dan will be able to take part next weekend. And listen, it's awful news for Kelsey, the ACL, the cartilage as well. Listen, he's had his. We've managed to get the scan quickly. He's got the consultant next. Listen, the key thing is to get his operation as quick as we can, really. So we're sort of working. We're trying to do our end. We've got the PFA involved as well. Listen, he's devastated. He's a young boy. Football's his life. So it's been a difficult few months for him now. But we've just got to try. We've got to get the op. That's the key thing, and get. We've got a lot of experience with these injuries, sadly. And we've just got to try and get him through the first 3 months of it, get it done, get him through the first 3 months, and then it does get easier. It's tough for him at the moment. Great kid who's, there's a lot of people fond of him at the football club, so yeah, difficult. And obviously with Kelsey and Dan out the loop, it's they're the two boys that have on the front line have been excellent for us. There's over 20 goals between them, so it is difficult for us. But listen, the boy himself, listen, he's okay. Spirits are good. He's getting plenty of support. He's got a good people around him, good family. So he'll be okay, hopefully. And also, I'm hoping Dan will take part next weekend. He's very close, and pleased that Stefan got through today. Seems to be unhinged. So see with the registration deadline going, and it's unusual because registration deadlines finishes and there's still 10 games to go, and for small clubs that's tough. It's all right, we've got the big squads and whatever, and then all of a sudden Morrison goes, Kelsey's injury, Dan's injury, Steph's injury, and it stretches the part time to smaller clubs. But listen, just got to deal with it and get on with it, and like I say, I think, listen, we're all a little bit frustrated last couple of weeks. We all want to see more goals, but listen, there's one thing that you can't knock is how hard everyone's working. We've just got to continue to do that.